Welcome to our 71st episode of Two Tankers and a Cat. We are your hosts. I'm Charlie.
And this is Russell.
Well, usually people are like, jump right into the episode, but there's a couple of things I wanted to announce. If you go to our Facebook, you will see a picture of the lovely Sophie, and she is putting out Craig Moore's book, American Panthers, I think. We would like you to swing by our Facebook and just read and maybe buy through her link, because I know it gives some money to the Calvary things for tank restoration. So I hate to say it, guys. They need money and you need this book. I mean, it is really well done. We've got it. Craig's a big supporter of the show.
Yeah, big time.
Yep. And we definitely want you to swing by our Facebook, follow the link, and buy this book.
Yeah.
It makes a great Christmas present. I'm giving it out to a couple of my fellow tank nuts.
Believe it or not, Christmas is right around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
Already.
That's insane.
Wow.
Wow. How many years have we been doing this? How many Christmases?
Man.
Oh, we'll do a Christmas episode.
Yeah, we'll have to do one.
Lloyd sent us a message. How do you say Lloyd's last name? Grunchy?
DeGruchy?
His son actually plays World of Tanks, and his in-game name is like Arnie Boy _Invader. And we wanted to shout out to Arnie Boy. You know, I got to watch one of his replays where he killed like 7 tanks, and it was very, very cool.
I know. So it's neat.
And then Tony Rouse, lovely and kind and wonderful wife, asked if we had mistresses, because she is worried about their cooking skills and wanted to send them rolling pins.
Yeah.
I'm sure just for cooking. And no, me and Russ are going to join the priesthood, and we have absolutely nobody. So don't send any rolling pins to anybody. I don't think she's going to buy it.
Yeah, probably not.
Hey, did I tell you my latest really bad joke?
I know.
What do you call an elephant that doesn't matter?
I don't know.
An irrelevant.
Oh, man. They keep getting... wow.
They get worse and worse.
Let's talk tanks, I guess, now, after that. I don't know. It's going to be rough, but...
We did have a couple more messages. Unfortunately, we can't talk much about what they put in there. People are like, well, what do you think about the 90,000, troops and tanks on the Ukrainian border and the T-80Us that are being pulled up, and what do you think about the, Chinese tanks building, up on the Indian border? And they're sending all those new tanks and everything up there. And then they're talking about, China is building these little islands out in the middle of the ocean so they can leapfrog, or use them as art. I'm sorry. I should be kind. They're building these islands to store military personnel and equipment. So everybody's asking, what do you guys think? And I'm like, we told you guys months ago this was coming.
Yeah.
Months ago. In fact, if you go back and get, I think it was last year around April or something, we talked about what's going to happen. Like I said, people, we forecast this, months and months ago, and I've posted on Facebook, I hate it when we're always right.
Yeah. I know.
We've done episodes on the Chinese Indian. We've done the Taiwan discussion. We've done the Ukraine discussion. I think I want to do an episode on the T-80U.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, it might be a little late by then. But we are going to talk after the episode a little bit on what we think is going to happen within the next few months. Give you a little hint. Hey, Russ, what time in history would it be perfect for Russia to take back the Ukraine or invade Ukraine?
Yeah.
And what time in history would be perfect for the Chinese to hit Taiwan at the same time.
I know.
They'd have to hit them when we have a really, really...
Be careful with your words, Charlie.
Yeah, I got to be careful. I can't say anything against our current president, but
oh man,
he's
a lot of you guys out there know what we're talking about.
Yeah. So so my friends listeners over in the EU and NATO, Bud, don't think the Americans are coming this time.
Man.
And then Taiwan, the Australians, I love the Australians, great people, and they're serious about protecting Taiwan.
Yeah.
Don't count on us, brother.
I know. We've got some major issues right now in our country, and man.
And we're broke.
Yeah.
They just passed that $1 trillion improvement.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, okay, we're like trillions of dollars already in debt. Where are we getting this extra $1 trillion?
Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but
do you know what I had somebody say to me? He said, well, we're going to get that money because we're saving it all, not being in Afghanistan for all the trillions of dollars we spent there.
Yeah.
And then my question back, okay, where are we getting that money?
Exactly, yeah.
They're like, shut up.
That's why I'm having to pay so much damn money at the gas pumps and at the grocery store right now.
Yeah, we have our friend Richie that lives down in Belize. Do you know what the national standard for gas, per liter is?
I have no idea.
$9.
Oh, man.
That's insane.
Wow. I think we're setting it at almost $3.20 a gallon right now where I live.
But when we say $3.20 where we live, we are on a pipeline or some nearby gas producing where it changes oil to gas. Our gas prices are always lower here in the Midwest. But if you go up to like where my daughter is, she's paying almost $4 a gallon.
Oh, yeah. Easy. Yep.
In Maryland.
Yep.
So
I've seen it as high several years ago as $3.99 a gallon. Never did quite get to $4, but it was real close.
Now on the Missouri side, it did get to $4. So we're almost back there.
We are.
And people keep putting those memes out. I could sure use a bunch of mean tweets right now.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
People complained about mean tweets, but they also had gas at $1.80.
Exactly.
Well, maybe we'll just go liberate somebody.
Hey, there we go.
Now, we got to find what country produces oil. I heard New Zealand. We could bring. We could
probably take them on with rolling pins. I'll bet you.
No, I don't know. You know what? We're going to get in so much trouble. Let's just jump in the episode.
Yeah, we probably better.
The first point we're going to talk about is the Leclerc tank, and their second key point is the Tucker Tiger tank. Technically, the Tucker Tiger tank wasn't a real tank. It was more of an armored car, but they called it a tank, so we're gonna go with it. Do you know who did a really good? While I was researching this, do you know who did a really good episode on the Tiger tank?
No,
the Chieftain.
Oh, okay, cool.
If you follow him,
I need to get on there and.
So we're gonna cut the chit chat. I mean, we've been talking for probably 20 minutes now. We're going to finally get into the episode.
You can always fast forward a little bit, guys.
Yeah. And Russell, go ahead and start us off.
The Leclerc tank is a main battle tank built by Giat, now called Nexter of France. It was named in honor of General Philippe Leclerc, who led the French element of the drive towards Paris while in command of the Free French 2nd Armored Division in World War II. The Leclerc are called by the designation AMX 56. While very popular, this is actually incorrect.
Yeah. When we were doing our research, there was some, what I like to call keyboard historians that are like, oh, the AMX 56. No, that's not right.
Yeah.
But if somebody mentions it, I guess they call it that. So.
The Leclerc is in service with the French Army and the United Arab Emirates Army In production since 1991, the Leclerc entered French service in 1992, replacing the AMX-30 as the country's main armored platform. With production now complete, the French Army has 222 Leclercs, and the United Arab Emirates Army has 388.
For a little bitty desert country, that's a lot of tanks.
It really is, yeah.
A lot of tanks. But they, one of the really nice things about the Leclerc is their desert modification stuff.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
And apparently their engines are doing really good in the sand. Because,
yeah.
You're dealing with a lot of sand.
Yeah. During the Iron Spear exercise, October of 2019, Leclerc tanks participated in an inter-alliance exercise and surpassed the American M1A2 Abrams, German Leopard 2s, the Italian Ariete C1s, and the Polish P91.
Yeah, I still like that Italian Ariete or whatever.
Yeah,
C1.
I do too. Yeah, that is neat.
That's impressive to outperform the Abrams and the Leopards. But give us a little history about this beast.
In 1964, studies were initiated about a possible replacement vehicle for the AMX-30 main battle tank. In 1971, in view of the inferiority of the AMX-30 in comparison to the new generation of Soviet tanks, the French government defense, procurement, and technology agency ordered the beginning of the Char Futur project. A working committee was created in 1977 and agreed on a list of specifications. In February 1980, however, a memorandum of understanding was signed with West Germany involving the joint development of a main battle tank, calling the Napoleon I in France and the Kampfpanzer III in Germany.
See, and some of our newer listeners or younger listeners will go, what do you mean by West Germany?
I know.
A long time ago, there was a place called the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
And there was East that belonged to the Soviets and the West that belonged to, Germany.
Yeah. Crack a book. It's out there.
Yep.
Fundamental disagreements about its desired configuration led to a failure of this cooperation in December of 1982. It was announced that a purely French battle tank would be developed called EPC. The importation of foreign equipment like the M1 Abrams, the Leopard 2, or the Merkava had been studied and rejected.
So in 1965, I'm not making fun of the French again. I'm not. So in 1965, they knew they needed a new tank. And by 1982, they decided, okay, no outside help. We're just going to build our own French tank. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
In contrast to most Western programs of the time, much consideration was given to active and passive protection to limit overall mass of the vehicle. Mobility for evading enemy fire and fire control systems were given particular attention. Nevertheless, it was a stated design goal to achieve at least double the protection against kinetic energy penetrator ammunition in comparison to the level attained in then current main battle tanks of the 50-ton weight class was about 400 millimeters per penetration equivalency. The higher level at the same time protecting against shaped charges.
That's a new round for your tank ammunition episode that we keep telling everybody we're going to do.
I know.
So we're going to have to do kinetic energy penetrators.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I know.
I'm sorry. I've been on Russ's butt the last couple of months about the ammunition, but every time he starts to research,
I tell you what,
I send him a new link. I'm like, hey, did you know about this tank ammo? And he's like, no.
I will get there, I promise. Like I said, I might have to break it up into a couple episodes and spread it out a little bit because there's a lot to.
It would be good to do
talk about. Yeah,
4-part or 5-part series as our secondary.
Yeah,
and, do our main first point, and then second point. We could break it up over an episode.
Partnership with a foreign state was sought to limit the cost per unit, and this was found when the United Arab Emirates ordered 436 vehicles, adding to the 426 units already planned for the French Army. In 1986, the project was started under the name of Leclerc, 6 prototypes being built swiftly. Mass production started in 1990 with the 4-unit Batch 1, used mainly for comparative tests in foreign countries. The 17 units of Batch 2 were shipped with improvements in the turret and in the whole armor. These units were diagnosed with problems in the engine and suspension and were quickly retired. Batch 3 followed with some improvements and have been used to define the doctrine of use and instruction. Batches 4 and 5 were better built, eliminating the current problems in the power plant, and are still in service after having been refitted at the end of the 1990s. The second series started with Batch 6 with an added climate control system in the right rear of the turret, and Batch 7 introduced a transmission system to the command vehicle and a data system giving instantaneous vision of the state of all battle tanks and acquired targets. It also incorporated minor improvements in the visor. And Batch 8 was a modernization of the electronic system, and Batch 9 replaced the thermal imaging ethos by a cesium iris with better resolution. All previous batches will be modernized up to the standards of Batch 9 from 2005. In 2004, Batch 10 was presented, incorporating new information systems which could share the disposition of enemy and friendly units to all vehicles on the battlefield, and it also had a new armor package. This was the beginning of the 96-unit third series. By 2007, 355 tanks should have been operational, 320 of them incorporated in 4 regiments, each with 80 Leclerc vehicles. As of 2010, after a French defense review, each of the 4 regiments reduced that number to 60 Leclerc tanks for a total of 240 in operational units, with a further 100 in combat-ready reserve. Due to finance cuts, only 254 tanks were fully operational in 2011.
Back in the 60s, they decided, hey, we need a modern tank. And in 2010, they're like, maybe we should cut back on these.
Started costing them a little bit more than
they thought.
Yeah.
Well, having 100 combat ready in reserve isn't a bad idea. But if I was in their shoes, I would be sending those reserves out to countries with cash and selling them to reduce the cost and even generate some cash. I'm sure a country like India would have taken them. When you think about it, I can see now with the current, did you see the NATO president discussing about the Ukraine and Russian situation and warning the Russians?
No, I haven't seen anything lately.
Yeah, they said they were going to stand with the Ukrainians if there was any escalations and stuff like that. So maybe the French should start,
I know,
blowing the dust off some of these things.
I know.
Yeah, we hope that everything works out. Vladimir decides to, take them back from the brink.
Yeah.
And then Vladimir actually listens to our podcast and sends us one of his tanks so I can take it over the Bovington. I'd bring it to the United States, but I kind of feeling they just use it as training against enemy armies and stuff.
Yeah, I agree. They'd probably cut holes in the side of it.
Oh my God! Why do we do that? I know why.
Yes,
I know why. We actually had Rob tell us.
Yeah.
The guy had to save the tanks, and he says, "Okay, I got to take out the sides to use them as training."
And it makes sense. I mean, but it'd have been nice if they'd have kept the pieces. And
look, we've talked. our whole 2 tankers and a CAD have discussed how many tanks, like the M6, the T1.
I know
all those tanks that we've lost to time.
Yeah,
and that's not even all the experimental stuff.
Yeah, exactly. I guess we're fortunate to have left what we've got.
Yeah. Hey, there's an old King Tiger out there. Let's take it to the gun range. That's America for you. Yeah. Yeehaw, let's go to the range. But I'm sorry. Okay, Russ, I have a few problems with the Leclerc when I was studying it, but it's too early to make an informed decision. Tell me about its gun.
The Leclerc is armed with a 120 millimeter Model F1 smoothbore gun designed by the Arsenal of Bourget under the designation of the CN120-26. Its barrel is 52 calibers long instead of the 44 calibers common on most main battle tanks of its generation, giving the projectile a higher muzzle velocity. The Model F1 is compatible with 120 by 570 millimeter NATO ammunition. This gun features a magnesium alloy thermal sleeve and an automatic loading mechanism. Elevation is plus 20 degrees, and depression is negative 8 degrees, and turret traverse is 360 degrees, are all electrically powered. The Leclerc electromagnetic acoustic transducer used by the French Army relies on compartment overpressure for barrel fume extraction, while the United Arab Emirates tropicalized Leclerc uses a compressed air fume extraction system.
If you're not sure about the differences, again, our main goal is for you to crack a book.
Oh, yeah.
And if you're like, what is a tropicalized, pressurized? You do yourself a favor, crack a book.
Exactly. Yep. And boy, all that sounds so much more modern than one of the first tanks we ever talked about. The World War I tanks.
Yep.
Are just, oh man, I cannot imagine. But anyway, located inside the turret bustle, the autoloader is designated the CHA. The autoloader itself weighs 500 kilograms empty. In case of ammunition cooking off, the deflagration is vented by 2 blowout panels.
Okay. So if they get, a hit, instead of killing the crew, it's going to blow out on the side panels.
Yeah.
Always a good idea.
Oh, yeah. The autoloader allows the reloading of the gun while firing on the move, providing it a sufficient rate of fire to deal with 6 targets in 1 minute. The nominal firing sequence is below 8 seconds, and the repetition rate, loading 2 rounds of the same type one after another, is below 6 seconds. The autoloader is managed by a Motorola 680021 microprocessor. The autoloader consists of a continuous link carrier magazine made of 22 cells and a rammer assembly. It can accommodate all types of ammunition that are to the NATO standard. Up to 6 different types of ammunition can be selected. The main gun is decoupled from the stabilization system, indexed to negative 1.8 degree elevation, and locked in alignment with the loading gutter. Then a telescopic rammer pushes the round from the cell into the gun breech via a fiberglass gutter. After loading, the weapon is automatically driven back to the specified angle in accordance with the fire control system. In case of power outage, the conveyor can be put in motion by using a hand-cranked electric generator. Holy moly. Who cranks that? The commander?
Yeah. All right. All right. I'm going to make fun of the gun here a little bit.
Wow.
Number one, they say that the barrel lowers and so you can put in the round.
Yeah.
But you can, if they lose power, they can hand crank it. My question is, how is the command firing system going to work if there's no electrical?
I know.
Well,
that's why you're cranking the shit out of the hand crank to. Oh Lord.
Well, let's say you have
there's got to be more to it than that. Wow. Okay.
We're not making fun of the French, okay? We're not. But let's say you have a power outage in a modern tank. You're probably dead anyway.
Yeah,
But an old hand crank may have some uses, but none I can think of.
In a modern tank. Ooh. Okay. That's interesting because there's got to be other ways. What the hell is the Abrams use?
Not a hand crank.
Yeah. The ammunition is normally inserted in the autoloader through a port in the rear wall of the turret bustle. A control panel allows the autoloader cells to be rotated to present a new empty cell. 2 barcode readers identify the introduced ammunition in order to manage its position in the conveyor at any time. If the ammunition does not have a barcode, its type is entered through the control keyboard. It is possible to replenish the autoloader under armor through a port in the inner bulkhead by using the 18-round cylinder located to the right of the driver's position.
Okay. Barcodes. What did Amazon make this tank? This one's not reading. We can't use this ammo.
Oh, let me find the keyboard. It's under here somewhere.
I gotta Stop! Don't shoot. Okay.
And they had cost overruns on this thing. I'm sorry, I'm done.
No, we're not done. We're not done. We're going to make fun of this tank a little bit more.
Man.
But, like I said, barcodes and entering them into the loader with one of those price guns like you see in the grocery store. I think I'm hating this tank. All right. What about its secondary guns?
The Leclerc is also equipped with a 12.7 millimeter coaxial M2 heavy machine gun and a roof-mounted 7.62 millimeter machine gun, whereas most other NATO tanks use 7.62 millimeter weapons for both their coaxial and top machine gun mounts. The major exception is the American M1 Abrams, which has a 7.62 millimeter coaxial machine gun and two top-mounted machine guns, one 7.62 millimeter and one 12.7 millimeter.
What we mean by that in the Abrams, the 7.62 is really effective. How do I say this properly? Against anti-personnel.
Yeah. Yes.
And the 12.7 is really effective against
helicopters, low flying. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's just say if you were using a Piper Cub to, do some scouting.
Yeah.
M1 Abrams will smoke it.
Yeah, big time.
America. I just remember our trip to Fort Benning and those ricochet plates on the back of the old M2 tanks. But, Russ, how are the fire control systems of this tank? I've been sitting here bashing on you can't shoot it without this fire control system, but they got a hand crank.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell me a little bit about the, fire control.
Leclerc tanks have the Icon TIS battle management system with digital communication system, which integrates data from other tanks and upper levels of command. The digital fire control system can be operated independently by the gunner or the commander, and it offers real-time integrated imaging from all of the tank's sensors and sights, including the gunner's Savin 20 stabilized sight developed by Sagem. The Leclerc tank features the HL gunner's primary sight from Sagem. The sight has 2 day channels, a direct one with 4 power and a 10 power magnification, and a video channel with a 10 power magnification. The thermal channels offers 3 power and 10 power magnifications. The Athos thermal imager has a detection range of 5,000 meters. It can recognize targets at 2,500 meters and identify them at 2,000 meters.
At 5,000 meters, even the Leopard tank can properly identify a target to kill.
I know.
And they're saying, well, you got to get in 2,000 meters before you shoot.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a Soviet tank pointing its gun at me.
Don't know.
Let it roll up.
Yeah,
don't worry, I've got my hand on the hand crank.
Yeah.
I'm sorry,
I'll
go
crank
ahead.
like an SOB, but we'll see if we got enough.
Hey, how you going to load around? Your barcode gun doesn't work.
Oh, Lordy. The laser rangefinder is of the YAG type. No emergency or auxiliary sights are mounted.
I'm not... All right, I'm laughing. No emergency or auxiliary sights, but we got a hand crank.
Yeah. The tank commander can observe the surroundings through 7 episcopes and the SFIM HL70 stabilized panoramic sight. The HL70 is equipped with a day channel at 3 power and 10 power magnification and a night channel with 3 power magnification.
All right, I'm going to cut in. And I want your honest opinion if you think this would be a problem. It says the gunner can take control of the gun, and the gunner can take care of the gun. So let's say the gunner's looking at the sight and he's seeing something and he wants to fire.
Mm-hmm.
And the commander's like, oh, I'm going to fire at this. You're getting dual commands on the computer. And what happens when you do a dual command on a computer, a firing system? It doesn't fire.
Yeah. The United Arab Emirates tropicalized Leclerc uses the improved HL80 panoramic sight, which features an electronic zoom 2 power and a laser rangefinder. The image intensifier is replaced by an Alice thermal imager and panoramic sight that incorporates an Iris thermal imager. Both sights are also equipped with a semi-auto tracker for target acquisition. The combination of the gunner's primary sight and commander's panoramic sight allows the Leclerc to operate in a hunter-killer mode.
Okay. Hating the gun, or the, loading and everything. And now I'm hating the sights on the French version, but the Emirates seems okay.
Yeah.
That almost seems like...
they was probably able to pay for the upgrade, yeah.
I'm thinking they put the German sights on them.
Yeah.
Like I said, being able to see something at 5,000 meters, but not being able to kill it until it's 2,000 makes no sense.
Man.
I mean, you literally lose 3,000 meters before knowing if you can shoot. Giving them 3,000 meters to spot you and kill you. Even some of your old Russian type tanks and stuff like that with their upgraded, tactics or sights and stuff like that at 3,000 meters, or 2,500 meters, they're going to shoot.
Yeah. And
if you're still sitting there thinking, I don't know, sounds like a bad idea. Okay, so I'm hating the sights, hating, the whole loading and ammo thing. What about the protection? Is the protection good?
A feature of the Hyperbar system used by the V8 1500 engine is that it does not emit visible smoke during acceleration, allowing to reduce the infrared signature of the tank. The exhaust temperature of the TM-307B gas turbine never exceeds 370 degrees, whatever the engine speed is. The whole fighting compartment must be protected against RPG-7 warheads, and all-around protection should be provided against threats such as 30mm autocannons. Over its 60-degree frontal arc, the tank is able to withstand multiple impacts of APF SDS ammunition belonging to the largest caliber currently available on the market. The turret and the hull are made of welded steel plates with a thickness ranging from 30mm to 50mm, on which removable composite armor modules are mounted. 12 modules surround the turret on 6 per side. The modules are covered by an anti-slip coating made of fiberglass. The turret vessel that contains the autoloader is protected on both sides against the 30mm armor-piercing rounds and shoulder-fired and anti-tank weapons such as the RPG-7. The composite storage boxes around and onto the turret have a triple roll, carrying the tool set. They reduce the radar cross-section and act as spaced armor. Structural self-sealing fuel tanks are located to the right forward part of the hull, in front and above the ammunition drum. 6 heavy ballistic side skirts protect the front third of the hull sides. Each of them is made of a composite panel covered by a steel outer shell.
Okay, that sounds pretty weak to me. How did this thing even beat the Polish P91? They were talking it outperformed the, Leopard. Okay, I'm sorry. Let's skip that, the protections. Tell us about the engine.
The Leclerc has an 8-cylinder V8 1500 horsepower Hyperbar diesel engine and an automatic transmission with 5 forward and 2 reverse gears.
There's a joke about 2 reverse gears in the French, but I'm not touching that. We love our French listeners. I'm telling you guys, we do. We appreciate you.
Yes.
You were a valued member, and it's just we
give a little ribbing every once in a while.
Yeah.
The official maximum speed by road is 71 kilometers per hour and 55 kilometers per hour cross country, and speeds in excess of 80 kilometers per hour were reported on road. The maximum range is given as 550 kilometers and can be extended to 650 kilometers with removable external fuel tanks. The Hyperbar system integrates a small gas turbine in the engine, acting as both a turbocharger and an APU, giving auxiliary power to all systems when the main engine is shut down. At a combat weight of just 56 tons, the Leclerc is one of the lighter main battle tanks in the world, and this gives it one of the best power-to-weight ratios among the Western tanks, 27 horsepower per ton, and it makes it one of the fastest main battle tanks of its generation, and which goes about 0 to 32 kilometers per hour in just 5 seconds. Fuel tanks carry 1,300 liters and act as extra protection for the tank. Two 200-liter external tanks can be fitted on the rear of the turret, but these have to be jettisoned before entering combat since they limit turret rotation.
I'm glad we don't have video in our show
Lord
because everybody
almighty.
would have just seen me face palming.
And I just threw my hands up in the air.
The gas tanks are used as extra protection. I don't. And then you have your tanks that are full of gas.
You're done.
All right.
Extra protection.
So we're going to use these gas tanks as extra protection, but we got to jettison some of them before we get into combat.
Can't rotate my turret quite yet. Let me jettison here.
This hand crank is just killing me. All right, I hate this tank.
Oh, Lord almighty.
Okay, okay, Russ.
I'm going to have to look up the reports on how it outperformed the... okay.
I can tell you how it outperformed. It's the speed.
Yeah, exactly.
This thing does 32 kilometers an hour in 5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
In reverse.
Yeah. Maybe it would have been better used as a light tank or something, scouting tank or something. I don't know.
I don't know. But this is their main battle tank.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, Russ, has this thing seen combat?
In service, after the Persian Gulf War, the Leclerc has mostly seen deployment on low-intensity conflicts, including 15 Leclercs stationed in Kosovo and 13 Leclercs in Lebanon within UN peacekeeping operations, where their performance was judged satisfactory by the French officials.
Oh, the French officials said, "Oh yeah, it works fine.
It does.
We've spent a big portion of our budget on building a tank that has a hand crank and that uses gas tanks for protection." Russ, maybe in law enforcement we should quit wearing bulletproof vests and just wear like gas cans.
Yeah. I'm going to do that. Yeah, when I go back to work.
Yeah. No, let's don't do that. I'm sorry. I'm face palming. Go ahead.
As of August 2015, Leclerc tanks of the United Arab Emirates were deployed in combat operations in Yemen as part of the Saudi-led coalition. It is estimated that 70 Leclerc main battle tanks were deployed by the United Arab Emirates in Yemen. During 1 month, 3 tanks were damaged, 2 by anti-tank mines, and 1 by an RPG, which damaged the grid without piercing the hull. In a single incident, 1 Leclerc tank was hit and penetrated in the driver's hatch by an anti-tank guided missile, possibly by a Konkurs type, an old Soviet-era type, resulting in the death of the driver and injuries to the legs of the commander.
Now people have a little bit when we hear about armor, me and you have researched hundreds of tanks, and we understand when people are talking about penetration stuff, you're talking about an old anti-tank guided missile. Some of the other tanks, I'm not going to say the Abrams, because there's other tanks that have taken the big hit like that. Even some of the old Soviet era stuff in Syria were taking some hits and surviving. The brave driver and the commander that got injured and stuff like that, nothing against those guys. If you're going to get hit, you're going to get hit. So we're not making fun of there.
Nope.
But sometimes, people don't understand some of the things that we see, how, it would be dangerous. And this is a perfect example of that. Well, at least it didn't hit the gas tank armor. Okay, I'm done with the Leclerc. Let's skip its stats, Russ. I think the French should have contacted the United Kingdom and bought a bunch of their British MBT Challenger 3s. I understand that they want their own tank. Sometimes, let's say a guy wants to make his own ice cream, and it's just not as good as some of your better premium ice creams that you could get at the store. Sometimes you just got to bite the bullet and say, we're not in a position, especially if you're talking back in the 60s and not getting it until, in the field till the 2000s.
Exactly. Yeah.
But
Charlie, the tank is fast.
Yeah. Apparently it's not as fast as an anti-tank missile, but, and it's got 2 reverses. Yeah. Like I said, let's skip the stats and wish the French people the best of luck with the coming problems that are going to be happening. Let's talk about the Tucker Tiger tank, another failure of a tank.
Hey, among the initiatives of American industrialist Preston Tucker during World War II was the Tucker armored car, also known as the Tucker Tiger tank. Prototypes of the high-speed armored car were tested, but no operational models were ordered. The vehicle was designed with a very powerful V12 engine, so it could travel at 114 miles per hour on road and 78 miles per hour off-road.
For anybody but the United States, that's 183 kilometers an hour and 126 kilometers. We keep forgetting that.
Yeah, I know.
What do they call it? Imperial?
Yeah.
I'm like,
we're the only screwballs out there that
they don't even attempt to try and teach it anymore.
No, they don't. Nope, the meter stick is long gone. The vehicle was conceived as being armed with a primary armament of a 37 millimeter or 1.5 inch anti-aircraft gun capable of firing 120 rounds per minute, mounted in an aircraft-style spherical gun turret. The turret would have been supplemented by hull-mounted machine guns on production vehicles. The vehicle was promoted as being so fast it would chase aircraft, allowing it to hit them with more rounds than fixed-gun batteries or slower vehicles. Of all the vehicles that might be accused of being too fast, a 10,000-pound armored Willys look-alike from 1939 is not an obvious suspect. Leave it to Preston Tucker, though, to build not one, but two visionary vehicles that were both brilliant and unable to fully realize their broad potential. Tucker's Cyclops-eyed 48, or torpedo sedan, most recognizably represented his enduring legacy. However, before he scrambled around designing and building his own aluminum block engine from scratch, in 1937, he was stuck in bed recovering from an appendectomy. As troubling newspaper headlines rolled in bearing rumors of European war, Tucker's mind went to work. He designed the Packard-powered Tucker Tiger tank, also known as a combat car, complete with a 360-degree Tucker turret, individually adjustable headlamps, and air conditioning. Which, holy moly!
Yeah, again, I'll cut in real quick. If you don't know who Tucker is...
Yes, he's got some history, yeah.
Now, there was a movie...
If you're a car freak,
yeah,
that's something you will want to crack a book on, is this guy.
There is a movie, but the movie is awful. Has some really bad historical information in it. But still a good movie.
Yeah.
And again, research this guy. He was awesome.
Yeah. The Dutch weren't interested in his ideas, so Tucker presented the idea to the U.S. Army. Its verdict, no thanks, but we'll take the turret. A fully revolving turret, electronically powered units like Tucker envisioned were most common on U.S. bombers. However, one advantage of Tucker's car-mounted turret, with its 75-degree elevation range, was its ability to track with planes from the ground compared to the more limited scope of stationary units. Though the combat car concept died in its infancy, the details bear witness to the incredible thoughtfulness of Tucker's design. According to a promo film, which Tucker filmed for the U.S. Army, each of the Tiger's headlamps, encased in bulletproof glass, could throw a beam 1 mile and could be adjusted individually to act as searchlights. To make maintenance as efficient as possible on the battlefield, sections of the radiator could be individually replaced. Louvers on the engine compartment doubled as windshield defrosters. The body's 9/16-inch armor plate was entirely welded, not riveted, a shift in technology that was only just beginning. The body's underside featured panels designed to deflect blasts down and away from the car.
Maybe he should have went to Japan.
Man.
And said, listen, rivets on tanks are a bad idea.
There you go.
If you haven't heard of our Japanese tank episode about rivets, please go back and listen to it again.
Rivets in tanks can be evil.
I mean, there's no way.
Yeah.
Tucker was a genius. A spotlight headlight, windshield defroster, landmine protection, and air conditioning.
Before his time.
We're talking The war's just starting.
Incredible. I know.
And for him to come up and say, hey, this thing can track airplanes by racing down the road.
Exactly.
So he's like,
at high speeds,
Yeah. And most airplanes, when they do, raise up and they level out, chasing this thing down, there's lightning.
Oh, hey, lightning, what's up? Really?
Sorry, ladies and gentlemen. Lightning has came to grace the show and give its approval of the Tucker Tiger tank. But what a genius.
The Tucker Tiger tank. Fast as a bolt of lightning.
Oh,
there we go.
Put lightning in it. Put lightning in your tank. She's like,
put her in the ball turret and go to town.
You still haven't posted pictures.
I know
of lightning.
It's been a while, and I need to.
And some people have gifted us some toy tanks, and Russell has a bunch of really cool little tanks. But we need to get lightning laid down and put some of the tanks out there just to show it.
Yep, I agree.
What's our number one complaint?
I know.
Well, the number one complaint is I talk too much.
Charlie's corny jokes, I think, is the number one complaint. Oh, Lordy.
Hey, you want to hear a joke?
Go ahead. Might as well.
Guy walks into a
the
bar.
Leclerc tank? Oh. Anyway, go ahead.
Don't edit that. Go ahead and leave that. Somewhere down the line, somebody's laughing at that. But guy walks into a bar, and he's got a bullfrog on his shoulder. Yeah. And he sits down, and the bartender's looking at him, and all of a sudden the bullfrog talks. He goes, hey, hook me up with a beer. And he's like, oh, okay. So he loads him up a beer and hands it to him, and frog's drinking on it, and he looks at the guy, and he goes, you got a talking bullfrog on your shoulder. Guy doesn't say anything. He goes, you want a beer? Guy didn't say anything. Bullfrog, finishes his beer and says, hey, that was really good. Give me another one. He's like, cool. And he starts drinking, and he asks the guy again. He goes, do you want anything? I didn't say anything, but the bullfrog says, you know what? This actually started off as a wart on my ass.
Holy moly.
No, I'm sorry.
I don't think that was out of the 4th grade joke book today.
Yeah. Or bad dad jokes.
Oh, man.
Do we still have some more information that you can give us on this tank?
Yeah. The maximum degree of tilt for which the Tiger's low center of gravity assured perfect stability. The low center of gravity was balanced with a 12-inch ground clearance and completely armor-plated underside for navigating muddy battlefields and minefields. In addition, each wheel could be individually braked to climb out of ruts, loose ground, or mud. Possible configurations of wheels. Tucker also outfitted the car for dualies in the back or tracks in place of wheels, making it a high-speed tank, depending on your definition of such thing. The standard 4-wheel configuration was also equipped with rear or all-wheel drive, the 175 horsepower, 473.3 cubic inch Packard power plant, which also powered Packard 12s from 1935 to 1939.
Okay, this thing goes 114 miles per hour, which is faster than my car now. It's got bulletproof windows. It's got a 37 millimeter autocannon, 4-wheel drive. It's got 3 machine guns. I got a face palm. Why did the Army not buy this thing? There's actually a film promo that he did, and it's on YouTube. And it started out with a regular test, and it's black and white. Yeah. When we put out this episode, we'll put out the link.
Yeah.
So you can see it on the YouTube channel if they don't take it down.
Exactly.
YouTube's been taking down stuff left and right. It's ridiculous. Man. And that brings us to the Chit Chat segment. We normally do tanks in the news, but unfortunately, as you can tell, this episode ran long because of laughing breaks and a lightning break.
Yes, lightning.
You won't hear the part where Lightning was doing crazy stuff, but I mean, she is currently just trying to get up. She wants up here so bad, and there's just no room.
I know.
I'm happy with our new studio and all the new equipment. Our Patreon people help buy, but that's awesome.
Yeah.
But tanks in the news, I guess, is
we can touch on it. Yeah.
It's the Ukrainians and the Russians. We need to tell people is we've been talking months about the current situation that's going on. And we hope that, we pray that everybody backs up and they can work it out some other way. But history repeats itself. And all I can say is the United States might set, this one out if China goes into Taiwan, China goes into India, if Russia goes into Ukraine. But I got a feeling that NATO is not going to let it happen.
Yeah.
I think, the French and the German and the Italians and all the other NATO members are going to, how do I say this? If you look back in history when Chamberlain was talking to Hitler and he's like, don't invade Poland. When you get the leader of NATO saying, don't go into Ukraine, there might be some problems.
Yeah.
We're not dealing with 1800 technology or 1940 technology. People are like, oh, anybody that goes into Russia, will get destroyed and stuff like that. It's a different world. China just released their hypersonic missiles and stuff like that. Trust me, the United States has got hypersonic.
Oh, yeah.
We've had it for a long, long time. Probably where the Chinese got it.
Yeah, exactly.
Not accusing them of spying or anything. We got to be careful, man. We're going to get in trouble.
Yeah.
That's all I need is get shot twice in the back of the head. I want you to know that if an enemy, country comes over and bumps us off, that me and Russ talked crap all the way. We're going to shoot you. Yeah. You better go back and get your more people because you're going to need it. Yeah, we talked shit the entire time. Let's do some, we already did our shout outs basically at the beginning of the show. Let's do our Patreon. Have we had anybody come back on our Patreon?
Yeah, we have. We want to welcome back Jake Izaki.
Oh, very cool. Yeah, thanks, Jake, for coming back. Kim and Eric, mad props to you people.
Yes. Antonio Bernarda and Alejandro Martinez still with us.
They literally, I think both of them, when I tried to say their name, after all these years, they're like, we've been supporting you. You still can't get our names right.
Oh, man.
And it's like, one of them said, oh, it hurt my ears.
There you go.
Fine.
Oh, I'll tell you what. You can always get on SpeakPipe. Go to twotankersandacat.com, and there's a link there for SpeakPipe, and leave us a message with your...
Antonio.
How do you pronounce your name?
Can actually call us and say, Charlie, you suck. And Mr. Martinez can go, it could all if we could just cut out the Charlie parts.
Oh, man.
And add more lightning, that'd be fine. But we have mad props for Bjorn Ben, ODS Theo, and everybody's favorite, Rick Schmidt.
Rick, yep.
Rick's outstanding.
Yes. I think he was one of our very, very first supporters, and then ODS came along not too far after that.
Yep.
Means a lot, guys.
It really does.
Everybody stuck with us, and really appreciate it, especially after everything that I've went through, and
you've went through, and I've went through.
Lordy.
And
yeah, it's been a ride.
Job changes and retirements and all this other stuff.
It's been a ride.
Changing studios and now doing mobile. I'm actually I came down to Parsons because I miss Russ.
Yeah.
But
I was going to feed him some steak for his belated birthday, I think, tonight.
Woohoo.
I know.
And so I guess that's pretty much the end of the show.
Yeah, believe it or not, we're not vegetarians, if anybody wondered.
Two vegetarians go into a restaurant. They said, we're vegetarians. What can we get? And he goes, well, you can go get. Never mind. Hey, you want to hear the last joke?
What's that?
A chicken, a cow, and a pig go to a barbecue. The end.
Gee, whiz, Christmas. Oh, wow.
Well, this is Charlie.
And this is Russell. As always, happy tanking and have a great week.